Hello and welcome back to MSI 2021. We've got a battle for first seed or playing spoilers. This will be the last game of the Rumble stage for both Damwon as well as Pentanet. And if Damwon wins, they will take first seed of the Rumble stage, which means they get to choose between PSG Talon or Mad Lions for their first round opponent. That can certainly be relevant. On the other side, Pentanet has a chance at getting themselves their second win. There's a chance this means they tie for fifth at the end of the group stage, which would be an impressive play in and of itself. We'll see what's going to happen onto this one. We are into the draft.
Yeah, honestly, with how competitive it has been thus far in Rumble stage, I do think actually securing the first place spot for Damwon is pretty big, so you do get to choose your opponent. And let's get right into it. Pentanet Gaming here, banning out the Renekton, very flexible pick. Already shown multiple times through mid lane as well, so taking away from ShowMaker, even though Khan has played a lot of tanks recently up on the top side. Meanwhile, we still have the Senna available. I feel like it's just so powerful, should get banned out as well from the side of PGG. Giving over Senna to Ghost has not been successful for any teams. Okay, there we go.
Yeah, it's interesting. Senna banned away from them 60% of the games, only played it once. Honestly, Ghost is the most one-trick player at this tournament. Yes, of course, he can play more than one champion, but this will be his 11th Kai'Sa game of MSI 2021. This is all he will play if given the opportunity, and their comps are all built around the fact that it just keeps on happening, honestly. So that can feel pretty comfortable. Udyr, the most highly prized champion of the tournament, going to be locked in, and Canyon just going to say, you know what? Look, up until this point in time, the only teams who had played Lilia were eliminated from the tournament, that and Canyon.
Well, he hasn't locked it in quite yet. Meanwhile, on the side of PGG, they did also early throw down on this Lucian. So yes, you can play it in either solo lane, but I'm definitely looking at Chazz here. You can flash in with Udyr as well if you have a very powerful clearing an aggressive jungler like Udyr early on with a pushing lane from your Lucian. Definitely can get some mid-jungle action going there for PGG, try and get that upset. And Canyon does switch over to the Morgana, much more likely. He's been quite good on it as well. Really good black shields. You're speaking about Ghost and his affinity for Kai'Sa, you know, diving in and pulling a lot of these outplays off. If you have a Morgana there for the black shield to be able to give him the immunity, plus be able to follow up on some of these initiations from Nautilus with the binding, definitely setting him up for success.
Okay, so Braum going to come through. Now, of note, I'm not certain if Braum works the same way, but Wind Wall does not stop Nautilus ultimate because it's functionally subterranean. It's kind of weird, but that is how it works. I assume Braum shield works the same way. Well, it will not stop it because it's not really projectile. Regardless, though, it of course does mean safety. That Lucian could always flex bot. As we know, Braum Lucian is a very strong duo, so a possibility there. But regardless, it's a good front line to hold up for a pretty strong back line.
Yeah, I mean, they really have, you know, had this penchant for the Braum, you know, as far as the all-ins on bottom side, trying to take the defensive side of it. I do always like having Unbreakable on my team for later on for team fights as well. So definitely some good zone control there. And that's something that sometimes you can suffer from if you're drafting solo laner like Lucian. Since obviously not bringing any crowd control to the table for himself. Silas and Jace taken out from the side of PGG as well, though. They don't want to let Chazz take the Kiana if they, you know, swap Lucian to the bottom side, you know, that classic kill lane with Braum as well, or BioPanther on top side too.
Right, exactly. I mean, Gangplank certainly within Khan's champion pool kind of single-handedly took down Cloud9 a couple days ago, and may, you know, continue to have some pretty strong success here. So Gnar going to be locked in. That'll be the blind top lane pick. Mid lane will be flexed till the end. We'll see for sure if it's going to Lucian or not. Keep in mind, Tristana also still available, so you can always put Lucian and Tristan kind of both those spots and do whatever. Against Nautilus, I actually prefer Lucian into the bottom lane a little bit, since you can more easily dodge the hook, and Tristana it's a bit more difficult, and just put Tristan into the matchup's good. Lee Sin going to be locked in, though. Is a mid-top flex for now. It's only the second game of the tournament for Khan, not played by ShowMaker just yet, and instead, yep, just gonna play Zoe.
Insta-lock there real quick with the Zoe for the second pick on the solo lanes here for ShowMaker. Let's see if he could have another tremendous game on the champion. He got so much early power last time around as well, so it was a super early completion of Mythic item and came through with some very devastating bubbles and paddle stars. Definitely going to make it difficult on the side of PGG, and they are going to put the Lucian bottom with the Braum. So definitely can make those early plays. Lucian Braum being able to stack up the passive so quickly, also being able to answer any sort of the all-ins from the Kai'Sa Nautilus early on as well. If you do have Udyr, if Pabu is kind of focusing on bottom triangle of the map, definitely can be an area for them to try and work with. I do actually like the Lee Sin into Gnar on the top side. It definitely has a lot of variation though, because of the versatility of Lee Sin. So let's see how Khan is able to throw down here versus BioPanther.
Okay, let's see what we get for ourselves here. It is, of course, going to be that Lucian Braum down there, and the 2-on-2 is going to be fun. Khan on the Lee Sin could be all kinds of incredible. And worth noting, as Chazz plays his last game of MSI 2021, 3 straight Viktor games. Hadn't played it up until yesterday, and then decided at the very last moment that, you know, Viktor is actually all he wants to play. Did get a victory in the first one, and since then they haven't been hitting.
Yep, they got a win on it. That's their only win, so keep on doing it. All right, Pentanet, can they get another win here at MSI, trying to upset Damwon, keep Damwon out of the first place spot, lock in, or are Damwon going to secure it?
Let's see what it's going to be. The right to pick your first round opponent if they can win this one. Keep in mind, otherwise, if both teams are 7-3, RNG owns the head-to-head tiebreaker 2-0. That's why they would drop the second, and RNG would get selection. 8-2 obviously would be the best score out of the Rumble stage. It's interesting because I know coming in, we wondered if Damwon would maybe take this tournament undefeated, reigning world champions, only subbed 1 player out. They went to completely dominate the LCK, and you know, it hasn't quite been that. Dropped a couple of games in their first group stage, obviously dropped 2 games to RNG here, but it's the only team they have lost to in the top 6. Curious if that's going to remain the case, and if they might get revenge in the finals themselves in a few days' time. Damwon shaping up pretty well, though, overall.
I also want to touch on the composition overall for Damwon, because I'm actually a huge fan of using Morgana this way. I know there's a lot of emphasis always put on you need to have differing damage types from your mid jungle, or else your mid jungle duo is going to fall. But Morgana actually does so much to supplement the strengths of Zoe and actually cover some of the weaknesses too. Because whenever you have Zoe and some of this long-range damage and poke, the opposing team is always looking for that hard engage to try and close the gap on you. And Morgana Black Shield obviously does a lot to dissuade some of the hard engage and protect you from that. Plus, adding to the fact that if you land a Sleepy Trouble bubble, it makes an easy binding, and you're actually just asleep and then bound forever, and makes these picks devastating if you do combine these 2 champions. So far, it's been extremely successful as a mid-jungle duo, despite both being magic and allowing you know, your opposing mid laner to easily itemize some early magic resistance.
As you watching for that one, the Merc Tread's obviously the primary one. Verdant Barrier nerfed enough that no one's really picking it up anymore. As the bot lane is going to fight, nice little anchor damage there. The Guardian Shield gets popped, blocks a little bit of damage, and well, we're still pretty close in these duo lanes. 1 cast minion alive, Q's not going to land. Fight towards BeryL could be decent damage, but with Ghost playing in the brush, you could always answer back. Halo Blade's obviously pretty threatening. Hook's going to land again, and Decoy, 200 HP left onto him. Lucian Q lands in the back line, and Chazz already poked out a little bit in the mid lane, level 2 versus level 1. And a good sidestep of the Paddle Star. Overall, ShowMaker ahead in this lane. Now looking for the re-engage level 2 and 1 minion. They're both there. Will it be enough to fight BeryL? He is on a ward. Not going to go for the Q or anything just yet. Another Piercing Light's going to land. 2-on-2 could explode at any moment. Again, 1 more anchor. They might find the damage of Decoy. Obviously, with Aftershock, BeryL could survive the re-engage and might just be fine. BioPanther shoving in the first couple of waves. Doesn't get as aggressive an award as he might have liked, but it's enough to watch if Morgana comes through for a gank.
Yeah, you can see Decoy was setting up for the level 2 all-in there. Pre-level 2 fight, he's putting his passive onto BeryL, stacking it up. But since Praedyth had just used his Q, doesn't have the Lucian burst Q damage plus double auto, which is what you want to be able to instantly proc that passive and make the charge on your level 2. So Damwon did a very good job focusing the minions, getting their level 2 themselves quickly so that the all-in there from PGG does not happen at that point, allowing the junglers to just continue on with their full clearing. Canyon finishes on to the bottom side. Very good respect given by the PGG bottom side, since they know did start from the top end and will finish on bottom scuttle.
Well, worth noting, though, that going equal, I would say, favors Damwon slightly in the fact that I take Kai'Sa in the late game in most cases. Lucian Braum meant to be a bit more of a bully sort of lane. I think the kinds of things Nautilus can do late game tend to be a bit more powerful, mostly in starting team fights, but we'll see. There's plenty, of course, more game to play, but right now it is Dom1 with the push lead, and they can crash this wave and reset if they need to. If it's going to be in a couple of longswords or something, should not be Noon Quiver money by any means, so it's not going to be a huge recall if there even is one.
Yeah.
But it's a refresh on resources. Ghost is entirely out of mana.
Especially to your point about Nautilus, if you're looking at, they also have a black shield on their team, and so it's insanely easy to black shield for like Braum passive stuns and stuff like that. Very easy to still have effectiveness if you're the Nautilus, even if they do have early Merc treads and stuff, you know, still getting value out of your hook, still getting decent value out of your ultimate as well. Good move here from ShowMaker after pushing up to be able to keep track of Pabu, and if Udyr just continues to power clear, here we go, teleport behind them though.
Some damage TP and Ignite there on the Braum, not the ideal target. Flashes in for the Q, but they're still splitting damage back and forth, and Praedyth finds first blood. The re-engage is still gonna mean a kill, and how about the chase down though? Next time there's a Sleepy Trouble bubble, it could mean death. Praedyth flashes the Q. It wasn't going to be lethal damage, and ShowMaker was out of chasing tools. Not sure we had to flash that when there's no way item 0 ShowMaker does 800 damage there.
Yep, ShowMaker though makes everybody scared as soon as he teleports in on the bottom side. BeryL as well. BeryL is making this initiation into a full wave. So you can see the cannon minion plus all 3 ranged minions auto-attacking him. Yeah, he's able to get his Aftershock off, but he takes so much damage before ShowMaker even arrives that he gets bursted down, flashing in forward there. Praedyth does, as you mentioned, end up using the flash anyways, even though he's not going to execute and probably is going to recall off of that fight anyway.
Yeah. I want to point out some mechanics actually that Decoy did that was actually super, super sick. The primary thing BeryL wanted to do while running away was turn for an auto attack, put the root, and get Aftershock on. And every time he went for the right click, Decoy turned around. And so he like walked up instead of landing an auto attack, and I don't get him. He walks away. Walks up for the auto attack. I don't have him again. And that actually bought a lot of extra time to get the damage on. And that was actually really, really sick by Decoy. Just the minor step backwards is part of the reason why that kill even happened.
Yeah, so much support battles revolve around who's proccing Aftershock first. Top side though, Kong.
Kick. That's stylish, but oh, he's going for it. It is minion Gnar. All right, jumps to the minion. That was still really sick though by Kong.
Honestly, Lee Sin, most of the things that Lee Sin does are pretty stylish, especially at the pro level. One of the reasons that I was actually happy to have Lee Sin back in the pro meta, even as a solo laner here. Let's see if Canyon joining the area here. He is level 6, but so is BioPanther and has charged up the Mega Gnar Rage Bar. So will just be the dragon on bottom side for PGG. And the top side jungle presence actually amounts to nothing there for Dom1. Yeah, they lose out on their Krugs, and it will be a full side counter jungle there, but Dragon picked up for PGG. Quite nice for them to be able to play off Lucian Braum.
Yeah. Now, Kobe, I know you maybe slurred your words slightly, but honestly, if like Atlas and Brendan haven't been saying Canyon for the top duo, y'all have been missing out for an entire season. This is a free one for you, for everyone cashing the best of 5s as well. The Canyon duo. I want to see the ganks up there, all right? I think it's a good one. We're just going to leave that one out there.
Where's my credit?
Kobe invented it. I'm just bringing it to the masses, you know? Like, call me... we're moving on. I was going to make a real-life reference. I don't want to. So we're back into the farm because I just don't want to flame right now, you know? The people who are like they're dead or whatever, like let's just not.
Some rare restraint from
Very
Phreak.
rare, you know?
It.
Yeah, I mean, I've turned over a new leaf and it got eliminated. I can no longer really, hold my head up very high. So we're just, we're just going to cast the games and be a little meek today.
Fair enough.
Yep.
Putting his head right back into the sand until the next international.
I'm an ostrich till Worlds. I'll see you then with Cloud9 wins Worlds again. All right. Well, 700 gold, though, puts Dom1 in the lead. They're down a dragon, but it's not going to mean the most in the world. Pabu barely gets any value out of it. Everyone else, though, actually, yeah, Gnar either, really. It's actually one of the worst strikes for this team comp. They really don't use ult CDR in almost any way, but it's okay. They're going to catch some farm and look for the next re-engage at some point down the line. Ghost has a ton of AD, managed to get his lethality buy in as well, and this actually might be a bit more. Yeah, Noon Quiver's in the inventory now, so Ghost is on, pretty good item spikes.
Yeah, feeling pretty comfortable. Sleepy Trouble Bubble does land for ShowMaker, and that's going to be another paddle and 50% HP.
It is, yeah, there's 500 health right there. And, you know, rank 4 the ability, so Praedyth, again, rank 4 the ability with sleep, 500 damage. Just, you know, the numbers keep them in your head. Think about the flash next time around. There, we're back already. You know, I decided it's too much for me to be nice to people. Khan still pushing the top side, 18 CS lead up there. Obviously, really good stuff. Canyon, no problem at all, gets the top. Rift Herald at 840. It takes 4 minutes to despawn, right? The eye in the inventory, it's 4 minutes?
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, in the previous game, it was used at like 2.5. So definitely had time there on Blabber's side. Mid lane still being cleared back and forth. Good farm though, Chazz. He's taking a bit of poke, he's taking a bit of paddling, but he is farming really well up in that mid lane, so that's impressive. Despite the assist, he's only down 100 gold, so that's some pretty good plays. And we'll just wait to see what the next big play is going to be. Next Dragon spawns in 2.5 for a Drake point, and that means we're seeing Ocean or Infernal Soul.
Yeah, definitely going to be one of the high-powered ones to be able to have a big influence on the game. I will say, with the way that top lane is going, should be really easy setup for Dom1. ShowMaker also continuing to poke out this Viktor. You know, early stages Viktor not going to have a very big impact. So definitely looks like Dom1 should be able to at least get some control towards the mid stages of the game, not allow PGG to continue stacking dragons to any sort of threat there, since teleports will be coming up here for Khan and a little bit before BioPanther.
All right, well, down go the minions, and it's time for the reset. Still 145 on the dragon, so you don't have to push too hard for the plays just yet. Get a little bit of poke there from Ghost, but honestly, Guardian blocks away most of it. Anchor nearly lands, but that's why I like Lucian on reflex. That is not... Nope.
Die, Bush, die!
Man, it's like trimming hedges with nail clippers. It's just so ineffective. It does really almost nothing. BeryL, okay, yep, shield is on in time. A flash for Decoy. Ult's gonna land on a Praedyth, has to flash to get away because the bind might have landed, but because the distance built, it means he's able to dash away from the bind. So Praedyth this time around, a good use of flash to get away from what would have been the plays. And hey, ultimately, you know, the flash wasn't gonna matter anyway. It's back up regardless.
Yep. With that Lucian skin too, you always look even more cool because you don't actually even have to pull off moves, and the cape is just constantly moving. So
yeah,
it looks like you have a really high APM doing all of your dodging moves. Slick stuff there. You know, he still gets to retain his perfect KDA as well with the first kill that he did grab there. So everything looking great for them as far as the individual plays. But again, with the setup that Dom1 have, we return to their goals in this game. They've got the Zoe Morgana, so they consistently put out this pressure. You see ShowMaker doing it again himself here, but they siege so well. When they're able to work off of any sort of early pressure like this. And since Khan's teleport is coming up just about now, you get to start see BeryL doing really aggressive invades. They're getting their deep wards down, placement for this dragon. They still have a very, very large window where BioPanther actually won't be able to join, and he's not going to be able to join for 2 reasons.
Into the Morgul, but the bind's going to miss. A crucial bit of damage not going to land. Threw it the wrong way. Didn't get pushed as far as he thought he was, so at least survival for BioPanther. Now re-engage to the mid side is ShowMaker at 400 HP, so Chazz doing some decent damage there, but the gold lead shrinking away from him, or the CS lead, as Rift Herald. Some of the top side, this one near enough to the turret that's going to get some damage. It's going to be the entire turret taken down. Canyon going to go ahead and share that gold together, 660 across the two, and now second dragon gets picked up. I like the try. Ghost tries several times for the cross-map snipes with the W. Doesn't land here either, but 2 drags to 0. Ocean Soul going to be in the game.
Yeah, instead of trying to stop out any sort of dragons early on, they make the choice to just get a bunch of gold up on the top side, like the crash in there. Full tower bonus for the first turret going down as well. Definitely setting up for some big YouTube highlights here for Canyon Lee Sin as he starts to join the dragon fight. He's going to be the super inflated solo laner here. You see already completing the Gore Drinker first mythic done as well. We do have the exhaust getting pulled out.
Oh, the flash in for the auto attack, but that means a flash and an ulti is easy. BeryL, that is one of the worst plays I have seen, but it might still set it for the rest of it. The shield's not back up. The auto comes in for Ghost. I take it all back. It was the long con. Double kill for Ghost.
Well, Canyon kind of coming up to clean up the garbage here, or Khan coming in to clean up the garbage here that BeryL left on the ground. And it is Ghost, one last auto, finishing off his passive there to get the double kill. So it's going to be fine for Dom1 in the end.
The sad Zoe buy, you know, I know we fought, we had some time together, but Yeah, not going to mean too much. You never take that Q. You never, ever, ever take that Q. I was right. That would have been funny if you did. All right, so Khan going to make the slow walk back to top lane. Does lose a wave or two to the turret. Obviously, TPing for 2 kills. Super worth it.
Yeah, it is the second time BeryL with some pretty aggressive early flashes, resulting in his death. But at least he finds this hook.
Lands this one. Paddle Stars a ton of damage. The shield is on. The Ignite seals the deal, though, as BeryL walks away cleanly. Great shot comes in for that kill. Chazz should have flashed it.
ShowMaker has just been pelting Chazz with damage all game long. And finally, BeryL comes over, lands a hook, and allows them to finish off one of those kills. This is going to be big. You know, he's got 3 stacks on his Dark Seal now, finally getting some kill money for himself as well. Dom1 now ready to push this game into overdrive. They've got a super fed Ghost bottom lane, ready to join any of these fights. Khan has full pressure on top side, so Khan could just keep pushing out on top side. Ghost knows that this is the weak side of the map. They've got the full top side lit up.
Yeah.
A little bit more care, though.
Flash stun, Gale Force, I love it. He scried the brush, saw no one. He's like, I don't even feel safe still. Yeah, I wasn't safe after all. Nicely done, well played. Good setup by Pabu, a kill on the board, but it's 2,700 in deficit for PGG.
Yeah, at least they got the kill, though. Patience pays off there for PGG. Pabu gets in with the flash stun, so they finally get their man. They get the bounty off of Ghost there. It is going to cost them as well across the map.
Okay, looking at a play now in the mid lane as TPs come through as well. They're going to find a bit of damage. Canyon's Black Shield times out, so he has to flash away from what might have been some decent CC. BioPanther takes a chunk, not going to matter. Top lane being pushed in, so I'm going to answer that soon as Khan is shoving in past the rubble of the first turret, and he's about to crash in a tier 2. So Chazz maybe walks there? No, it's going to be free turret damage, actually. As BioPanther finishes his recall to walk up, that sleep could mean a lot. Shield comes in, not at all. Ooh. Decoy just takes 1,000,000 damage. Why did he not put the shield up? It might have been on cooldown, but at least he lives. Burns the flash, get over the wall. Nice pickup there. I like that by ShowMaker to jump forward, grab it, and be like, all right, no problem.
All right, well, Phreak, we are entering the area of pain for PGG because Dom1 now, with these outer towers starting to go down, really get to group up and abuse their range advantage. The Zoe plus the Morgana here, constant threat of picks. And since PGG are such short range, you know, having a really short range AD carry and bottom side doesn't afford them any of the normal outs that you do have. So it's really going to be about, can PGG actually get these flash initiations? You know, they need to make use of the Gnar ultimate. Perfect timing. And BioPanther's flash is coming up, so maybe they can do it. It is going to be very difficult, of course, because the Black Shield will shield one of the carries, very likely Ghost, and allow Dom1 some easy positioning around the fight. But that's what it has to take. When you're facing stuff like this, where there's a range advantage with plenty of pick opportunities in the composition for Dom1, it has to be PGG looking for the kills.
Smite for a slow, easy stun. I notice that he doesn't walk to the left because he doesn't want to give a good ult target, but it's not going to matter. Of course, Ghost still presses R, but I saw him kind of check that instinct. Like, wait a second. The farther left I walk, the farther away from Chazz he goes. Still going to be a trade of health bars in the brush. They're going to find a stun. Decent damage on a BeryL. Anchor tosses backwards. Now, what about the re-engage from Canyon? Who will he bind? What they're going to get with a Sleepy Trouble Bubble, maybe? Nice culling is decent damage as Chazz is there for the reinforcements. Puts the gravity well down to make sure there is no chase to be had. And indeed, a walk away to safety. 3.2 thousand gold difference. Rift Herald summoned toward the bottom side to make sure it can pressure bot lane a little bit. We're seeing recalls out of PGG that looks like it's going to be given away. Dom1 went for gold income instead of the first 2 dragons, and now with that gold lead, they're going to start claiming them themselves.
Yeah, I don't think they were ever super worried about you know, losing control of the mid-game dragons there, so that's why they kind of didn't pay much attention to the early ones. Meanwhile, if this Rift Herald, they can usher it all the way up to the tower. It looks like there's not PGG defense in place yet, and they can finish off that last outer tower. Then you start to see the wards creep into PGG's jungle, the Zoe bubbles coming over every wall as you're trying to transition between defending the different lanes. And you really start to worry for your life. Every ShowMaker bubble could result in the follow-up pick there from Dom1, and that's going to be the next couple of minutes.
Okay. Looking at the bubbles eventually as items keep stacking up. Chazz gonna knock down Shelly, no problem. Here we go. All right, good job. Yeah, times it up. Gets 25 gold for the last hit. Interestingly, of course, not that relevant. It's barely more gold than just killing a melee minion, but it's always, you know, good to get the CS and feel good about yourself if you timed it nicely.
Yeah, honestly, I think it's good that you don't get a lot of money from killing the Rift Herald the second time. Let's see about the pick, though.
Oh, yep. Ward hops in, gets the stop, and now in the 2v1, it might just be easy. Sidesteps the Sonic Wave, but not a problem for Soul Shackles. Khan claims the kill.
The Kanyan duo stays winning. Stays winning all game long. He's been up there over and over and over. All right, I'm still waiting for the really big Lee Sin highlight plays, though. Khan's got to give us, some insect plays here, some sick ward hops. Ghost, since the Morgana's always topside, Ghost continues to have to use his ultimate to escape.
Yep, Pabu keeps pushing to the right-hand side to make sure the Killer Instinct doesn't go quite as far, but it's just not going to matter. Just walks away. It's, he tried his best, but it just, Kai'Sa walks away from Udyr. It's never really going to be a problem down there. It is going to be Chem Tank, by the way, in this build, so is more of the engage style of the Udyr in this one. Now we'll see if PGG can maybe regain some map control. Top side now begins to be the play as Baron spawns in 45 seconds.
Yeah, it's such dangerous work here to try and regain map control from them. They kind of got to group up, safety in numbers. If one of us gets picked, we just have to fight off Dom 1 and try to, fight our way out, let our compatriot have an area to escape from, because it's so dangerous. Into the fog of war here, it's very difficult to dodge away from some of the pick potential from Dom 1, and then they also have Nautilus, which is point and click to set it up. So definitely going to be dangerous work. You see them doing it. Phreak control wards going down over the back of the Baron pit, even behind the red buff, trying to get them an avenue for that comeback play. They have to jump on Dom 1, try and get the full initiation before too much damage is sustained.
Alrighty. Looking at the plays, looking at the push towards the top jungle. Just for good measure, ShowMaker cues it to the corner of the brush. Says, hey, if someone's there, we get some damage to start the fight out. But it means they can knock down all the wards now. Control wards coming down. Sightstone wards coming in as well. With the Ocean Rift, you get a lot of brush vision to this one. It makes almost brush control even more important because it's a larger percentage of the map, a larger portion of the choke points. This BeryL just walks in and just contains everything. No easy way in for PGG. Dragon spawns in 145. Could be pretty useful on the ANZ side. As the combo comes in, huge damage. He's burning down. Praedyth will drop. Good setup and knockdown by a BeryL. Bit of help from Canyon, sure, but support difference there 100% of the time.
Yep, he finds the pick. You get credit for the ultimate and the hook. Canyon there for the follow-up binding. You don't get to move against this team. ShowMaker also with the Glacial.
Big damage. Oh, he can't get it. Nice stun. Pabu sitting there in bear stance. Stuns before Khan could go for the ward hop. This is why sometimes you have to flash for the kick, because you can channel the kick, then flash into range if you ward hop first. Outside of really tricky things, you cannot precast the R. There are ways to do it if you're really funky with it, but ultimately, by being bear stunned in time, Khan cannot get the kick back.
Yep, a little bit of defensive maneuvers there for PGG, but they continue to lose ground with secondary turrets up around Baron. Guess what? Dom 1 have already cleaned the area once again of those control wards, so it continues to be the danger game for PGG, trying to hedge their bets. They need to group up and just charge in to hope for a Hail Mary play. In these types of situations, you try and use numbers advantage to your advantage and just try and charge them down. See if you can catch a Dom 1 person out of position. Not going to be the case here, though, because Dom 1 early setup here on this dragon. 20 seconds ahead. Khan goes for it.
There we go. We got the ward hop, the kick backwards. Give him an Eternal. That is a bicycle kick, according to the League of Legends official game. Client ShowMaker. Oh, my. Burns his flash, knocks him down. Of course, beautifully played setup there by Khan. Give big respect to Insect, the man that actually popularized the play. And now the engage continues. Lock of Shield comes into the back line, goes Ghost, and he is gonna knock one down already. Into the graveyard goes Pabu. Now time for a bit more as, hey, they got BeryL back, but it's still a 3v4 on the map, and it's time for the rest of PGG to turn tail and run, and Decoy is gonna be sacrificed on the way out.
All right, I spy a Lucian down there. Did they have vision of Praedyth? Maybe they're just going to let him live. Dragon picked up, and they can push with this minion wave on mid as well. Dom 1 continue to fire. I like how ShowMaker doesn't give up on the Khan play. Right over the wall, they actually capitalize on it. Another dragon for them. Praedyth channel.
It didn't see him. He just hit the scribe from to hit it.
Nice.
Didn't catch him.
All right, here's another look. We do get to see Khan comes in for the kick play, and ShowMaker says, I've got him. Gonna use his real flash over the wall as soon as his bubble hits here. Gets it every time. Paddle star right into him. 100% that Gnar before he can build up any sort of rage.
And, you know, a bit more damage there. Kicking the wall doesn't mean a whole ton there, or, you know, a bit of a knockback of damage, but yeah, ultimately the damage just way too high from this team. They're so ahead in gold. All right.
We get the attempted escape from the PGG members. So I was tracking Lucian. They did see him after the kill onto BeryL with their ward into Tri-Brush, so they knew, especially on the minion wave, that he went down there.
Yep.
But Praedyth is able to get the recall off. So he retains his 420 KDA Phreak. Perfect.
It's a pretty good one. Ultimately, though, even though he has 100% of his kills, it also means his team has none. Their KDAs look much worse. Honestly, they're gonna try yet again now is, well, okay, easy jump back for Khan. He's gonna be safe. Bit of damage towards BeryL, puts the ulti in. A root there. They are gonna find a single kill. Colling's gonna push back a bit more damage, but now Ghost ready for the re-engage and shuts down two. Nicely done. Snipe's gonna land a BioPanther. And even though Pentanet can find a single kill, there's always two more coming back.
All right, Pabu front and center. He's got no smite. Can he make the one-way trip in? He's gonna try and dodge his way in there. Maybe go for the Hail Mary Baron.
Nope, he's recalling.
All right, well, that's gonna be the siege coming from Dom1 then.
Wait, I've seen this before. You can't just recall in the exact same spot. Come on, Pabu, you had infinite time to run somewhere else. Well, the man's gonna run for his life. There's no way he actually lives. He's gonna dodge the Everfrost root. All right, the boy is dead. Thumbs up for Teemo. I know it doesn't matter, but Pabu, that was a bit silly, my man.
Yeah, I like to die running towards the enemies, towards the Baron. Not gonna happen though. Attempted recall sussed out by Canyon.
Yeah.
Finds another one. Baron buff now on Dom1. I think this one, Phreak. Here's my over/under for you.
Okay.
2 inhibitors.
2 inhibitors.
That's pretty big.
Okay, hold on. Does 1 inhibitor plus a Nexus count?
Yeah, I'll give you.
Okay, I'll go over.
All right. Over for Dom1. Let's see about this because this play was over for PGG. Does get the initiation on top side. Guess what? They started it out by killing BeryL once again. But as soon as BeryL dies, you know it's going to be a Dom1 victory there. Ghost doesn't hesitate to ult in and finish him off. Now we're in purple. They're right back at it.
All right, actually, you got to be like 1.5, so I'm saying 2 and over because that's. Like, I realize that, like,
okay, I'll let it fly.
Yeah, because I don't think it's 3 inhibs. I don't think it's ever 3 inhibs here, right? So I would never take that side of it. So I'm gonna, I would say equal. Over, under, equal would be my call. So here we go. Looking at turret number 1 in front of the base. Easy pickup there. Still a minute and a half on this Baron buff. And now they're gonna knock down the inhibitor. And hey, by the way, they're going for the Nexus itself. The turrets are up. And if Nexus is just one big inhibitor that keeps your whole base from dying, then that might be number 2. Looking now at the defense is Pentanet. As mid lane not going to be too terribly pushed in. In fact, it's actually hitting Dom1's middle outer. So it's just kind of pushing for the game. They're not going for anything bigger than this. They're not going for second lane. They're just going for the game ender. Still a minute and 8 seconds as the cannon keeps shooting in. The next wave reinforced with Baron buff on. They're not easily killed. Big stun to the front line already to delete 1. And a double stun from Nautilus is huge as they're going to find the dive in. A nice jump backwards keeps Praedyth safe. It's looks to kill Canyon. Chazz already dropped down though. It's a 2 for 0. Jumping in is Canyon. Gets the ulti. Looking to get the setup as the rest of the squad comes in. And the Canyon duo finds himself their second kill. Beautifully done for the squad. And goodbye. There is the ace. And I was right. And so was Dom1. They are going to be slaughtering this game. A 27-minute victory. They're going to knock down the second Nexus turret. They're going to knock down the Nexus itself. And right through the bottom lane, 17-5. Dom1 KIA claim the top seed out of the Rumble stage.
Confident play there. Their last step to actually secure number 1 spot. They get to choose their opponent in the next stage here at MSI. And Dom1 feeling comfortable after throughout a lot of this tournament, everybody with the early performances saying for sure RNG now with the performances at MSI looking like the best team here. But Dom1, they do secure the first place spot coming out of Rumble stage.
It makes that really interesting. Of course, Dom1, yes, the overall better record, but crucially 0-2 against RNG. If that's going to be the finals, that'll be a really important sticking point based on how the semifinals go, of course. But yes, it means they get to choose between Mad Lions and PSG Talon for the first round opponent. This also means farewell for Pentanet GG. Won a lot of hearts and minds, I think. obviously some very good players, and we'll see what else they can do maybe at Worlds and beyond. So in a few minutes, Sjokz and Wolf will discuss how DWG KIA are looking heading into the semifinal match as they just secured that first seed. See you soon.
The magical power of the realm is a mystery. Like a guardian, it is with you always. Defending you, charging you, watching over you like... Actually, it's not magic. It's this Cisco network. The power behind every gank, every combo, every mind-blowing moment at League of Legends Esports, MSI 2021.
Welcome back, everyone, to the State Farm Analyst Desk, where DWG KIA just secured the first seed going into the semifinals as they look for another title on the international stage. So I thought it would be the perfect moment to talk to Wolf about DWG and about what we've seen from them. Now, Wolf, first off, even though the road was maybe wobbly, at times they still secure the first seed going into the semifinals, means they get to pick their opponent. So I guess that's great to hear for you.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a little bit bittersweet because even though we got first, we didn't beat RNG either game that we played against them. So for DWG KIA, you're kind of looking at that going, okay, we got first, but our toughest opponent still beat us twice, and they might beat us in the finals. So it is bittersweet, but at least you get to secure that better matchup going into the first semifinal.
Yes, and I apologize to production, but I'm going to flip our points a little bit and talk about the RNG matchup first. What do you think specifically makes RNG a bad matchup for Damwon right now?
I think that, truth be told, the LCK this year went through a lot of changes, and you know, you look at teams that competed with DWG KIA, like Gen G, they choke in playoffs. They didn't have the full package, right? They had a strong bot lane. BDD had an okay year, right? You have really strong top laner in Rascal. You get teams like T1, full of rookies, right? And no one could really challenge DWG KIA this year. They didn't develop very much as a team. They didn't grow that much this year. Whereas I feel like if you look at RNG, they have the whole package, right? They have an entirely solid 5 lineup of players where they're not messing up the bot lane. They have a really strong jungler who plays for the team. They have a solid mid laner. Their top laner is an extremely veteran player, right? And their road to this tournament was like forged in flame, right? Yeah. They lost to FPX 3-0, had to fight their way back through very close series against top, almost got reverse swept by Edward Gaming. And I think that a run like that really hardens you as a team, right? You really learn a lot, you really grow a lot. And I think DWG KIA are struggling a little bit because they haven't been challenged like this in a really long time. And I'm not trying to say DWG KIA doesn't have the full package, right, that I was talking about, but their opponents along the way just kind of fell over like dominoes, fell over really easily. It was a very flimsy road for them. And I think really getting challenged for the first time in really the whole year is going to be a bit of a bumpy road. And you know, in their first series, they had some mistakes in terms of how they fought late game. Second series, there were some mistakes in the bot lane, and I don't think they used their comp to its fullest potential. I think at a best of 5, and with the coaching that they have, right, they have Koma, right, who's one of the most legendary coaches, if not the most legendary coach in League of Legends history. I think they have an opportunity to beat them at a best of 5 later on, but it has been a bumpy road. And I think it is really, unfortunately, just a growing year for LCK right now with franchising just starting and so many changes to rosters.
Yes, what I would be a bit of a devil's advocate then, and of course say, well, but this is still an insanely star-studded roster who rolled over the LCK, and even if it is a rebuilding phase, that region is no slouch, and the experience you get there is, of course, valuable. So I do think we should give them the benefit of the doubt in terms of when they get to best of 5s. But I do want to hone in onto a couple of specific things, being Khan, the big working point here for Damwon, the fact that they don't have the solo carry in Nagari. Let's take a look at the champion pool for Khan so far. Also, I asked our stats team to look at the resources in Damwon, because in the LCK it was the case that the resources were pretty evenly divided, with Khan a bit under and Canyon a bit over. But in MSI now he's gotten a bit more gold, he's gotten a bit more damage output that he could deliver, he's gotten more CS between 15 and 30 minutes. If you combine that with this champion pool, what do you think that tells us about what Damwon wants to do, and is that still something they could improve on?
I think that we haven't seen that much from Khan in terms of depth in his champion pool right now. Like, he's still played most of his games on Sion and Gnar, 2 champions who played a ton in LCK. We're seeing a little bit of the Jace. I think that last game we just saw Pentanet GG was just his 2nd time playing the Lee Sin. So it might be that he's hiding some potential hidden picks that he has. But even when we saw a ton of resources given to him in that previous game against RNG earlier this evening, you know, he had a massive CS lead. It was huge, but he still couldn't actually take the engages correctly, and his team was kind of falling behind and falling into traps the RNG were setting for the setups around those objectives. So his lead didn't matter as much because, you know, on the other side of things, you have Gala in the bot lane, has a really fast Dominix, is just chunking through that health pool really fast. I think that Khan is one of the most experienced top players we have in this tournament, right? Like, this is actually his 3rd MSI. It's like his 5th major international tournament that he's played in. He's been on, every time he plays in Korea, he ends up in the top team. He's always on the best team. And I think he's a player that we really need to look at as someone who could be a hard rock for this team, the veteran that this team needs, and maybe one of the players that can hold this team together and help convince them that that playstyle has to change, especially in the bottom side of the map going into these best of fives.
We also know that from the playoffs, and maybe this connects again to kind of your point about not the best teams that were fielded for the LCK. Damwon got away with actually not being ahead in the early game, even being behind in a lot of those games, and then waiting for the crucial team fights or Drake fights or whatever to kind of turn it around. Do you think that is also something to work on? Because obviously you could not let that happen versus an RNG.
Yeah, I think that that's something that, the casters and I out here, we all talk about the games. We usually watch the games, together every night, even on days we're not casting or working. We're texting each other. And I think it's something that we all kind of agreed on is we're always hoping that later on,
저희가 연습
later
과정에
on in the
있어서
game, we're going to
어떤
I'm
스타일의
getting some
게임을
audio.
Oh, I hear
하냐면
Khan, I
playing
think. Do you hear him too? Maybe he's come to call you
I
out
did
on
hear Khan.
talking. Yeah, I do.
we're
We're not gonna. They're not ready yet with the interview, but it's being recorded, so you can finish your points.
Okay, sorry. Well, I was going to say, sorry, I didn't want to cut across him if we were jumping into an interview, but I think that's something that you usually do trust with Damwon, right? And that's something that we learned from them this year is that even when they are behind, their team fighting is just so good that it doesn't matter. And usually when later on you get to that stage where Damwon is behind, they still set up really well with vision. They still get those team fights completely controlled. And that audio is still bleeding through for you guys on stream.
Yeah,
but
you're doing
what
a
I'm
great
trying
job.
to get at here is in this tournament, they haven't been able to successfully make that happen. I think this is a meta where teams like RNG are able to set up those team fights better. We're in a support kind of initiation meta, and Ming is really controlling some of those fights very well. Damwon are not playing around vision perfectly like they did in the LCK. So they aren't just straight up winning those front-to-back team fights because we aren't having those necessarily, right? We're having comps where you blow up one single target.
Indeed. Thank you. Sorry for the overlap with the interview. I do
No, it's all
think we're
good.
ready for it now. So for more on Damwon's win, here's Dash with their top laner.
Thank you very much, Sjokz. I'm standing by with Khan after a victory here to secure the first seed out of the Rumble stage and in towards knockouts. And that's where my first question lies, is in securing that first seed. Talk to me about the importance of having the opportunity to pick your first opponent.
네, 1위로 4강 진출하셨는데요. 이 점에 대해서 여쭤보고 싶습니다. 1위로 올라가신 만큼 상대방을 선택하실 수 있는 그런 기회가 있는데 이 점이 얼마나 중요하게 작용할까요?
아무래도 일단 저희가 대회를 하기 전에 있었던 연습 과정 속에서 어떤 스타일의 팀들이 이제 저희한테 되게 힘들고 어떤 스타일의 팀이 저희한테 좀 상대하기 쉬운지에 대해서 그런 정보들이 쌓였기 때문에 이제 그 정보들을 토대로 이제 다음 상대를 고를 수 있는 게 아무래도 큰 이점이 아닐까 싶습니다.
So during the practice, we were able to figure out the kind of play style that we feel comfortable to play against and uncomfortable to play against. Some teams kind of make us not to show up. So with all this information combined, I think it gives us a huge edge in order to choose our opponent.
Now, kind of jumping off of that point, this is a very interesting international tournament because it's the first time we're exploring a new format. Normally at Worlds, and you're experienced in these kinds of international formats, you come out of the group stage having never played the opponent that you're just going to play in a best of 5. What do you think is different, or how is it such an advantage, and how do you personally feel about having this new type of format moving into the knockout stage?
그리고 이번 MSI가 국제전 최초로 좀 새로운 포맷에 들어오면서 이제 다전제에서도 이전에 만났던 상대와 만날 수 있는 그런 상황이 되었잖아요. 이런 점이 또 어떤 식으로 조금 이점을 준다고 생각하시는지.
일단 다른 선수들은 어떤지는 잘 모르겠는데 저 같은 경우에는 상대방의 이제 정보를 토대로 플레이를 하는 경우가 되게 많거든요. 이제 그래서 모든 선수들을 다 만나보면 이제 상위 라운드에서 만났을 때는 이 선수가 어떤 타이밍에 어떤 식으로 게임을 하는지에 대해서 대충 갈피가 잡혀가지고 이제 그걸 토대로 게임을 하는 데 있어서 저한테 정보로 이제 오기 때문에 그 정보를 좀 잘 이용할 수 있다면은 되게 좋은 것 같아요.
So I don't know how other players play, but for me, I play based on the database that I have and acquired throughout the game. So yeah, after all the games that I played on stage, I get to gather up and stack up the information about the opponent's playstyle, like how he moves at a specific time in the game. So I will be able to perform really well if I get to kind of capitalize on those information.
Having that extra evidence is going to be very interesting to see how that affects the play. When we look towards the finals, possible finals, I think all eyes are on Damwon KIA and RNG as the favorites to make it all the way there. But given the fact that in your 8-2 record That is the only team that you lost games to here in the Rumble stage. I'm curious what you believe needs to change for Damwon to make sure that you have a different result the next time around.
네, 이제 4강을 넘어서 결승을 보자면 많은 분들이 아마도 담원 기아와 RNG에 집중을 하고 있을 것 같습니다. 지금 담원 기아도 8승 2패로 럼블 스테이지 마무리하셨는데 그 2패가 모두 RNG전에서 나왔잖아요. 그렇기 때문에 어떤 점을 좀 바꾸고 보완해야 이제 다음번에는 다른 결과, 다른 성적을 낼 수 있을까요?
일단 앞서 얘기했다시피 1등으로 돼서 이제 다음 상대를 고를 수 있다는 거에 대한 장점도 다 얘기 드렸다시피 이렇게 얘기를 드렸는데 결국 이게 그 이후의 일은 다 정해진 게 아니다 보니까 RNG를 이제 뭐 결승에서 만날 수도 있고 뭐 어떻게 될 수도 있는데 이제 가장 중요한 건 아무래도 일단 그 앞선 경기에서 RNG한테 패했던 2패 속에서 이제 저희의 문제점을 찾고 이제 그 문제점을 어떻게 하면 더 고치고 더 빠른 속도로 이제 게임을 굴릴 수 있을지에 대해서 많이 논의해보고 연습 방향을 정해야 될 것 같아요.
As I just mentioned about the advantage that I get by advancing as a first seed, you know, there are some advantages that we can get by choosing the opponent, but it doesn't really mean that we will be facing up against RNG in the finals. You never know what's going to happen, but still, yeah, because we have gained so much information throughout the matches up against RNG, we have figured out our issues and our problems and our mistakes. So I hope we can work on those issues and also, yeah, I hope we can snowball faster in the upcoming potential rematch.
Well, one series to go between you and a finals berth. Con, I want to congratulate you again on securing the first seed and an incredible performance here in the Rumble stage. But from here, we're going to throw to a break. When we come back, we've got one final game to close out the Rumble stage. It's Cloud9